Following his team's 4-0 win over Aston Villa, Tottenham star Harry Kane decided to book a flight to Georgia, US, to watch the Golf Masters in Augusta. Now, normally people don't really make a big thing about such visits, but was it really the smartest of decisions made by the striker, given the fact that his team is fighting two other sides in order to secure the last Champions League spot? While he may no longer be the flavour of the week, Mesut Ozil is the sort of player that none of us will ever forget. The former German international left Arsenal for Fenerbahce last year, but since then he's once again become a source of immense pain for yet another team. Is this trend ever going to stop? In the backdrop of constant rumours linking him with a move to Barcelona, Robert Lewandowski's entourage are likely to reopen negotiations with Bayern Munich. With just a year left on his current deal, the Poland international is now seriously considering a change of scenery, and we can't really begrudge him for that. Barcelona can't seem to get rid of Samuel Umtiti, but the Catalan Giants have just had a eureka moment, which could see them get rid of a player who's been one of the main reasons why the club's medical staff have earned every penny they've made in the last few years. So, now that you know what we're on about, it's time to do the deed. No, wait, two deeds. Hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications, and get ready for your daily dose of what? That's right, all things football. Before we get started, we want to share the sponsor of today's video. The OneFootball app is the ultimate football platform and is a must-have for every football fan so that you can follow all of your favourite leagues, teams and players all the time right from your phone. You can be sure to turn on notifications for specific players to be instantly alerted when they score a goal or when they are involved in other breaking news. It is the best and easiest way to stay up to date with everything football. Click the link in the description down below to download the app right now. You won't regret it. Pushed towards the exit door at Barca, Samuel Umtiti is still present in Catalonia. They are betting on one last strategy to try and get him to leave. Last summer, Olympique Lyon were on the verge of bringing back Umtiti, however they eventually went for the more experienced Jerome Boateng. Since his triumphant return from the 2018 World Cup, Big Sam has accumulated physical glitches, especially in his knee. Once a regular starter, he's tumbled down the hierarchy and no longer enters the plans of Xavi. Currently in rehabilitation, the player knows that his case worries the Blaugrana leaders. The centre-back had signed an extension until 2026 earlier this year, which was a boneheaded decision, but in fact, it wasn't. The deal saw his salary reduced, and there was a release clause inserted that allows him to leave for nothing. This is a real gift from Barca to clubs that are interested in signing him. Not really sure if it was a smart move, but to each their own. And according to Sport, Barcelona will do everything they can to take him back to France. The player loves Lyon, and Lyon loves him. Behind the scenes, the Blaugrana leaders are pushing for him to sign for Lyon, the most likely destination according to them. Sport speaks of a very advantageous operation for the Rodanians, in particular at the salary level. Now all that's left is to know the position of Big Sam and OL, who it should be remembered will be busy this summer. It's therefore difficult to imagine a return of Umtiti unless Barca manage to convince all parties that this idea is the best for everyone. The arrival of Mikel Arteta as Arsenal coach on December 20th, 2019 returned the smile to Mesut Ozil's face. The playmaker was the Spaniard's teammate for 3 years in the red and white jersey. Above all, Arteta arrived with a playful philosophy that complemented Ozil's approach towards the game. His new beginnings were excellent, but fitness issues were just around the corner. In the spring, to deal with the financial crisis, Arsenal asked its players to reduce their wages by 12.5%. Ozil and a few others refused. Mikel Arteta intervened and asked his men to make an effort and convinced part of them, but not the German, who stuck to his guns. On the resumption of the season against Manchester City in June, Ozil was absent from the squad, and it stayed the same until he left the London club. He left for Turkey to sign with Fenerbahce after several days of negotiations. His signing was greeted with enthusiasm. His flight from London garnered almost 1 million views. With a 3-year contract and lucrative terms, the former German international was expected to guide the club to the sort of glory they've never experienced. He started off well, but the state of grace was not going to last. His coach, Vitor Pereira, relegated him to the bench, and things quickly got worse between the two men. Mesut Ozil got disillusioned after spending so much time on the bench, and then there were issues such as throwing his jersey on the ground, kicking bottles, moments of pure madness that did not please the management at all. On March 24th, Fenerbahce announced via an official press release the sidelining of two of its stars, Ozan Tufan and Mesut Ozil. According to information from several English and Turkish media outlets, this recent dismissal follows a verbal altercation between the 33-year-old German and the acting coach of the Turkish team, Ismail Kartal. Özil has only played 37 games for the Super League Giants and has scored 9 goals and provided 3 assists. Not a bad haul, but it could have been better had Özil not been as petulant as he has been throughout his career. For several days now, Robert Lewandowski has been insistently linked with Barcelona, where a 3-year agreement, recently denied by Julian Nagelsmann, was even mentioned between the Pole and the Spanish Giants. Plunged into this climate of uncertainty as to the future of their serial scorer, Bayern Munich, however, wished to resume negotiations. Like Kylian Mbappe and Erling Haaland, the soap opera concerning the future of Lewandowski could quickly come to an end. Under contract until June 2023, the Polish international striker has still not extended with the Bavarians. His actions are enough to fuel rumours of a possible departure for Catalonia, where his name is regularly associated with that of FC Barcelona, who, for their part, are ready to do anything to afford a truly world-class scorer. If an agreement has even been announced between the clan of the number 9 of Bayern and the Blaugranas for next season, the director of football of the Catalan club, Mathieu Alemany, however, denied this information. A media release that leaves the future of the Bavarian star in suspense despite everything. In the midst of this uncertain scenario, his wife Anna even assured, via a story published on her Instagram account, that the native of Warsaw was currently learning Spanish. So many factors pushing the Rekordmeister striker towards the Barcelona club. I never felt like he wanted to leave. He talks a lot about tactics and he always gives the impression that he is interested. But it's a bit normal to think about your future, especially when you've been at the club for so long, said his coach, Julian Nagelsmann, confident about the loyalty of his star man. And according to the latest information from Mundo Deportivo, the current leaders of the Bundesliga have decided to take matters into their own hands. With this in mind, the Catalan media indicates that Bayern Munich wish to resume negotiations with Lewandowski to extend his contract, and that a meeting with the player and his agent, Pini Zahavi, is scheduled in the coming weeks to find a solution. On the other hand, the Bavarian leaders will only be ready to offer an additional season, whereas the current top scorer of the German Championship hopes for at least 2 to stay in Munich, a situation which is reminiscent of that currently experienced by Mohamed Salah at Liverpool. Anyway, this planned summit between the Lewandowski clan and Bayern appears to be decisive and will determine whether the 33-year-old striker will continue the adventure at Bayern or decide to sail towards new horizons. In the meantime, Barca remains on the lookout, but are already aware that the operation will not be the easiest to attract a player who has totaled 47 goals and 4 assists in 41 matches in all competitions since the start of the season. Plagued by limited finances, the Catalan management is also keeping an eye on the future of Erling Haaland, who seems somewhat to be moving away from Manchester City, but would still have preference to Real Madrid. One thing is certain, within a few weeks, the football planet should be definitively fixed on the final choice of Robert Lewandowski. As things stand, there are 4 teams that are vying for the final Champions League spot in the Premier League. Tottenham, Arsenal, Manchester United and West Ham all have a great chance to seal a place in the competition. However, it appears that no one wants the final place. At the weekend, both Arsenal and Tottenham lost, and Manchester United suddenly remembered how to win games. The results mean that the final place is up for grabs. But if you ask us, Tottenham had the chance to consolidate their position, but severely dented their hopes after losing 1-0. Harry Kane started the game against Graham Potter's men, but was clearly not at his best, and now we know why. Earlier that week, the England international decided to book a flight to Georgia in the US to watch the Masters. Kane hasn't had the best of seasons this time around, but in the last 9 games was in great touch, and had even scored 7 goals and provided 6 assists. However, he couldn't make the difference, as the Seagulls won the game 1-0. This means that Tottenham can't afford any more slip-ups, and they have a very tricky schedule. Before that, we really need to question the wisdom of making such a long journey, especially when your team is struggling to achieve something so important. Of course, managers allow players to travel every now and then, but we believe that Antonio Conte should have put his foot down and stopped this key player from making such a poor decision. And if Spurs do end up getting knocked off the 4th spot, questions will be asked of Kane and his loyalty towards the team. Already, he's been linked with a move away from the club this summer. Kane, of course, has the chance to shut us up, but the way this season has panned out, we wouldn't be surprised if the Londoners were pipped to the 4th spot by either Arsenal or Manchester United.